How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, King Calf, and we're here with another review. This time is going to be on Tekken 8. Now, I just want to say, this fighting game renaissance that we have right now just keeps getting better and better. Like, I'm not even kidding, man. We had Street Fighter 6, we had Mortal Kombat 1, and now we got Tekken 8. These are the big three franchises, and man, they are all just delivering. It's completely insane. So my history with Tekken has always been a little interesting. The first entry that I played was Tekken 5 back on the PS2. I then went back to Tekken 3, loved Tekken 3, went to Tekken 4. Wasn't a big fan of Tekken 4. I thought it was pretty cool, but they definitely slowed the game down. Tekken 5 was definitely my favorite entry for a while. Played Tekken 6. Tekken 6 kind of disappointed me, and then afterwards I kind of took a break from the franchise. I took a step back, and it wasn't until maybe 2 or 3 years after Tekken 7 release when I got back into Tekken. And, I was pretty shit at the game, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a lot better at these 2D fighting games, but I've always loved Tekken and loved the strategy and the way you can express yourself in combos compared to a lot of 2D games. And I think the reason why is because Tekken has always had over 100 moves per character. There's so many different ways that you can link moves, while your Street Fighters and your Mortal Kombat, only certain moves can link with certain moves, if that makes sense. So I think Tekken has always just had a great way to express yourself in your combos, and fights can really, really go any other way. So when I saw that announcement trailer for Tekken 8, I was fired up. I mean, it looked gorgeous, and it was going to be on Unreal Engine 5, so we knew that the graphics were going to be top notch. The fighting looked amazing as well with the short teaser that we got with Jin versus Kazuya. So I was stoked, and we're finally at the time where the game released, and I just have so many thoughts on the game, and I just want to get into it. So let's do it, guys. So the first thing I want to start is that I just love how all of these fighting games have so much single player content. A lot of people do not like to go online. I said this in my Mortal Kombat review. People don't always like to play online with fighting games because the majority of people are gonna get their ass kicked. I mean, it's not a lie, right? I get my ass kicked. I'm cool with it. Some people don't have that thick skin. They want to win all the time. So I feel that it's really good to have some solid single player content. And I think Tekken, of the three games I mentioned, Street Fighter 6, Mortal Kombat 1, I think Tekken has the best single player content. It has, multiple modes, multiple different kind of stories, and I just think that Bandai Namco is just knocking it right out of the park with the single player content. And that's what I've always really liked about Tekken is that they feel like complete packages, The online's always a star of fighting games, but I feel like they don't make it the main course in this game. And I think the main course in this game is actually the story, and I just want to get into the story right now with you guys. So the story is a massive step up from Tekken 7. Tekken 7 tried to do the single player story similar to your NRS games, and they did okay. I mean, it had definitely had some sick moments in it, but that whole narration with the journalist just kind of killed the vibe. Didn't really feel like you were playing a story through the Tekken character's eyes. You were more like a bystander. And Tekken 8 just completely flipped that. You are now in the role of Jin Kazama, and the story mainly revolves around him. You're going to be playing as Jin for, I'd say, 75% of the entire story mode. And I think it was a really cool direction that they went because there was this main overall plot with the Mishima clan and the family. And I think that having it take place with Jin and having it through his perspective really allows you to see the true conflict and how it's shaping everyone, how it's shaping him as a character. Because Jin hasn't really been a big character since Tekken 5. Tekken 6, he was the big villain, and then you find out he did it for a reason. And then Tekken 7, he's like asleep the entire time. So this is like your true return to form Jin, and I just love having him back. I'm a Jin player, I always have been. I like playing the main character. That's just my thing. I always like Jin. I think Jin's always plays great in every single game. And Tekken 8's no difference. I think he's amazing in this game. They definitely simplified him a lot. That character has always just been really good to me, and I just love playing as Jin. So the story's gonna take you about 3 to 4 hours, I'd say. You're gonna be playing several fights. There's CGI cutscenes. There's in-game cutscenes as well. You see characters fight. The fighting and in these cutscenes are like some Dragon Ball-esque freaking cutscenes. I think they look amazing. Really good cinematography, really good choreography as well. I think that the campaign, the story mode, just has a really, really great direction, and it's just really fun to watch and play. The story, not complicated. It's just about Jin trying to take down Kazuya, and he loses his double gene, and he's trying to get that power back so he can defeat him. And there's some twists and turns in there. I'm not going to spoil the story just because the game is fairly new, but all I can say is that the climax of the story is probably the most epic climax I've ever played in any fighting game. Forget your Street Fighter, forget your MK1, your MK11s, your MK10s. Like this finale is one of the most epic things ever. And if you are a longtime Tekken fan, they have some callbacks to some of the fighting styles that are used in it. And man, I can't even explain how amazing this last fight is. If you are not interested in playing this game, I highly recommend you go and watch a video of the ending of this game because man, they went off on this finale. And I think it makes Tekken 7 finale, which was already good, look like nothing compared to it. So the story really fun. I always find it really funny how everybody in Tekken, people are speaking their own languages. You got people speaking German, you got people speaking Japanese, English, French, Italian. A bear growls, and same with a panda, and yet everybody understands each other. I always thought that was just hilarious. Like people are having complete casual conversations in their native tongue, talking to someone else speaking their native tongue, and there's just no translation errors between them. I always thought that was really funny in the Tekken franchise, as if like it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy where everybody speaks their language, but it translates to you because you have some earpiece. It's kind of like that. I mean, it's not like that, but it just reminds me of that. So I always thought that was a really funny part of the Tekken franchise. Just hilarious to me. So yeah, great story, guys. We get some new characters that are introduced in the story as well. I think that they did an excellent job with it. But usually in these fighting games, like your story mode is your main single player content, and I'm happy to say that Tekken's got two other modes. You have your character stories where you get your traditional, 5 matches. It's closer to your arcade experience. 5 matches, you get CGI cutscene at the end for their ending, and this was pretty big because it was actually missing in Tekken 6, and then it was very, very half-assed in Tekken 7. We're really happy they brought back to their roots, like in Tekken 5, where you have 5 good fights, final boss, and then you get a cool cutscene at the end. Very, very cool. There's about 32 characters, I believe, at launch, so it'll take you a while to get through all of these, especially if you're playing on the harder difficulty. But that's not the only single player content, which again bogs my mind. So another mode that we get is called Arcade Quest, and this is kind of similar to Street Fighter 6's story, where you create a character. In this sense, you create an avatar. It's like a little chibi kind of character, and you go to the arcade and play Tekken. And this acts as not only another story mode, but this also acts as a tutorial because they teach you a lot of new mechanics, such as the heat system, which I will get into when we talk about gameplay. But it teaches you the heat mechanics, teaches you how to do specials, how to do combos, how to do dodges, blocks. So if you're like completely new to fighting games and especially Tekken, it's a great mode to give you the basics so then you are not helpless when you get on the fighting field. So I think it was a really cool mode. There is a small story attached to it. The story's bare bones. It's just about you rising the ranks in Tekken 8. But I think that it was a really cool mode and a really cool tutorial. I would definitely like to see this implemented in more fighting games and more games in general where the tutorial is not just like this, okay, press back to block, okay, press this to attack. It's a story mode, so you're actually excited to continue with the tutorial because even when I'm brand new to a franchise, I always get so damn bored with tutorials, but this is a great way to keep the player engaged while they're actually learning the basics. But the gameplay, that is the star of the show. Tekken 8 plays incredible. It's smooth, it's fast, it's brutal, it's strategic. Tekken is a 3D fighter. So you have so many more movement options. You can backdash, you can go up on the playing field, you can go down and dodge attacks and use that to counter. There's just so much to do in Tekken, and The gameplay is just so streamlined in this game. Again, they simplified a lot of it. This is definitely the most accessible Tekken ever. They even implemented some simple controls, so if you want to get a feel for your character, you just press L2 and you'll bring up some simple combos, or if you just, mash square, mash triangle, mash X, you'll do like some cool combos just to get a feel of the character. And then, if you have some friends over and you guys just want to play some Tekken, and somebody is complete dog shit at fighting games, you can give them the controller, tell them to press L2, and they'll be able to do some flashy stuff and feel good about themselves. Always welcomed in fighting games, but what I do like is that it's not the core mechanic in this game. I do find that a lot of fighting games make the simplified controls almost take over everything else, where it almost becomes broken in a sense, like the auto combos. I like how this way is just a nice simple thing. If you play somebody who knows anything and anything what to do in a fighting game or in Tekken, they're going to stomp you. But it still allows, brand new people to have fun. So again, great design choice in my opinion. But yeah, the gameplay is just amazing. The graphics are incredible. The soundtrack slaps. Soundtrack is amazing. And the character roster is great. I mean, 32 characters from the start, not even DLC characters. There is a pass or whatever that is coming with 4 or 5 additional characters. I'll check out what the characters are. I know there's a lot of debate of what guest characters they want to bring. Hashtag bring Tifa. That would be crazy. But yeah, I think they're knocking it out of the park. This really does feel like a true package game. You're paying that $70 or $80 for this game. You are getting a truly completed package, and there's nothing more that you can ask, especially in modern gaming. And on top of that, they added new mechanics. There's the whole heat system, which, it allows you to do some different things. Like you can use it to counter an enemy. You can press R1 a bunch of times and do a big combo that can do a lot of damage. You can do attacks and use a heat dash to follow up to continue your combo. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It's a very simple new mechanic, but I think that it brings a lot to the table, and I'm excited to see how people use this later on because I feel like there's a lot of creativity that you could do with this mechanic. So yeah, I think the heat mechanic is really cool. The rage arts return from Tekken 7, so when you're low on health, if you just press R2, you'll do a rage art, your special. And the one thing I don't like about it is that it gives you armor, so I feel that it's kind of a cheap way to win sometimes when you both are at low health. It's okay. I think, we just have to adapt to it. I don't really like when games give you like a low health special comeback thing. I think that specials should be, earned with bar, and you can use it whenever. I always prefer that style, but it's fine. Like it's easy to block. You just have to make sure you're strategic and not just like throwing attacks out because you will get countered with the rage art, 100%. And there's some extra modes as well in this game. There's Tekken Ball that returns, which I never really got into Tekken Ball. It's like a beach volleyball thing where you're playing with a character and you're trying to hit each other with the ball to do damage. It's very fun in this game. It was in Tekken 3, and I don't think it's been back since Tekken 3, or I think it was in Tekken Tag, but I can't remember. But apparently this is the best iteration of it, and I really enjoy it. You can even do it online, which I believe in the other games you can never play Tekken Ball online. This is the first time that's fully online, and it's just a fun way to take a break from, actually hardcore fighting. I really like Tekken Ball. I think it's a really cool addition. But that just brings me to online. The online in this game is fantastic. It has a great net code. That has the open lobby similar to Street Fighter, where there's a giant arcade and different sections, and you bring your avatar that you created, and you go and challenge people or play ranked, play quick games, do party games. Very, very cool. I think that there's a lot that they can do with it. We're not even a week into the game as the recording of this video. I think there's some sick shit that you can do with this lobby. So I'm excited to see what Bandai Namco does. I know they're very notorious for touching up their games and improving their games from fans' feedback. So if we just keep saying what we want, they usually deliver. So let's see what happens, guys. I think it's going to be a great online experience, and I'm excited to see the longevity of Tekken 8 compared to other fighting games because I feel that Tekken 8 just has so much untapped potential. And I just think that it is probably the best designed fighting game out of all these fighting Renaissance games. But the one thing I wish was there was that you could talk shit in online ranked games. That's my favorite thing about Mortal Kombat 1 is that you can chirp, and or you can talk and make friends with people. Like I've had again some of the best experiences in 2023 online in those Mortal Kombat lobbies in King of the Hill or in your ranked games or your quick games. I had really some really funny moments in that, and it sucks that you can't talk in these fights. I understand why they don't do it because if you guys are chirping each other while you're doing a hardcore fight, like you can throw each other off, and it's very toxic. But I can't lie, man. It's really fun to do. So I kind of wish that it was in it. Maybe they'll add it in a patch or something. But for now, in your ranked games or in your quick games, you cannot talk to each other unless you're in a party, of course. So I got this game on PS5. The performance is great, silky smooth 60 FPS. Haven't seen one frame drop. I only had one bug, and it was in the final boss where you're supposed to get attacked to continue the fight, and the guy Kazuya missed his attack, and we were just like in this endless battle where our health bars disappeared, and like we just kept getting up and fighting. It was really really funny. I didn't record it unfortunately, but that was the only bug that I did have. But other than that, amazing, amazing performance, great online, great net code. Obviously, if you're facing somebody who's like thousands of miles away from you, there's going to be some frame issues and everything, and some lag. But I've been pretty lucky so far to not run into many of those. I think I had like one or two games that were a little laggy, but it was still completely playable. I played some games in like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or Guilty Gear Strive that were just unplayable. Like I couldn't even believe that I won or lost those games just because like that was some bullshit. So happy to say, very very good performance, great online netcode, and I'm excited to see how much it improves because it's only going up from here. So, do I recommend Tekken 8? Hell yes. Tekken 8's amazing. Like, I know Tekken has always been overwhelming to get into just because of all the mechanics, because you're using a 3D plane instead of a 2D plane. But trust me, like, who cares? Get into it. If you have that fighting game itch, Tekken 8 is a great game to play. I don't even recommend waiting to for its sale. If you have any interest in the game right now, definitely jump on it now. With fighting games, the earlier you get into it, the better, because you're getting into it before the meta is created. You're getting into it before people see how to cheese the game, and no matter what is the inevitable, games are always going to get cheesed in terms of like the mechanics and characters and the imbalance in it. So definitely, if you have any interest in it, pick it up. Great game. It works good on PC apparently. Works good on Xbox. Works amazing on PS5. No excuse not to get it. So 100% I recommend it. And again, out of the three big fighting games that came out in the last year, I'd say that Tekken 8 is probably the best one. I think it's the best designed one, and I think that it has the most potential. Because Street Fighter 6, I got bored of it. Mortal Kombat 1, the unbalance just kind of ruined the game and it got a little boring. But Tekken 8, there's a lot to do, and I think it's only going to go up from here. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, that's my review of Tekken 8. Highly recommend this game. I'm gonna probably play it as soon as this video is done editing. I'm completely addicted to it. And I said earlier that 2024 looks like a filler year, but man, like we just got Tekken 8. We got Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, which I need to still buy. We got Persona 3 Reloaded dropping in a couple days, like Final Fantasy Rebirth in February. I mean, it looks like, sure, it's a filler year, but it looks like there's some pretty hot games coming out. So this is just another one of them, and I think that will come Game of the Year time. This is going to be one that people bring up. So 2024 is looking pretty strong, actually. I'm surprised. But that's going to do it for us right here. Again, I appreciate all of you guys watching the video. If you haven't, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know who you're playing as. Let me know if you want a battle. Like, hit me up. Like, I'm always down to fight some new people. But we have new videos coming out. I'm definitely going to be dropping a review of Persona 3 Reload as soon as I finish that game. I know it's going to be long as hell. We got, more games down the road. Definitely was going to be one for Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And that Dragon Ball video is around the corner. So if you want to see it, stay tuned. But until then, King Calf over here, signing out. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace out.